Next, I'd like to introduce our guest speaker for today, Steve Miller. Steve is an '87 grad of business administration. He was president of Alpha Kappa Psi. He's a principal at Origin Ventures, a venture capital firm which he co-founded with another College of Business alum, Bruce Barron, in 1998. Steve started his career at Quill Corporation, which was founded by his family in 1956. While he was there, he wrote a business plan for the company's first website, which went online in 1996 and within 2 years had generated $15 million in sales. As a venture capitalist, Steve has served on many boards of directors of companies all over the place, including Grubhub, which just went public this spring, and of which his company, Origin Ventures, was the initial lead investor. Steve is quite generous with his time. Philanthropically, he's president of the board of Victory Gardens Theater and a board member and committee chair for both the Jewish United Fund and the Better Government Association. With respect to what's really neat is he's been just a tremendous friend of the College of Business. He serves on my Dean's Business Council. He and his wife Diane provided a number of scholarships in the college, including funding the Stephen and Diane Miller Endowed Professorship, which is held by Professor Madhu Viswanathan. He supports the Academy for Entrepreneurial Leadership. He was a founder of the Illinois Launch Program, and he serves Illinois Hillel as a member of the Board of Governors. Please join me in welcoming a great Illini, Steve Miller.
Thank you, Dean DeBrock. I really appreciate that kind introduction. It made me feel a little better about following yesterday's university-wide commencement speaker. He's a handsome football player who became an astronaut. I'm balding, 5'8", and I'm afraid to fly. So, after all your studying, exams, all-nighters, 8 a.m. classes after your all-nighters, walking across the quad in 40 below zero wind chills to your 8 a.m. classes after your all-nighters, I'm one of the last things standing between you and your college degree. Class of 14, distinguished faculty and staff, proud family members, alumni and guests, I stand here today filled with admiration for your accomplishments, pride in our great college and university, and humility about being part of this celebration. Thank you, Dean DeBrock, for your invitation to speak today and for your leadership of our college. Thank you also to Avijit Ghosh, who got me re-engaged with the College of Business during his illustrious deanship. I'm still amazed that Dean DeBrock invited me to speak today. He may have actually meant to invite one of the other 5 Steve Millers with whom I went to college. One of them had straight A's and is on the bronze tablet. The closest I ever got to the bronze tablet was when I walked past it in the library. Speaking of bronze, the alma mater has returned to campus after a long absence. That beloved statue is inscribed, "To thy happy children of the future, those of the past send greetings." It occurs to me that if you're the happy children, that must make me the past. In all sincerity, I am deeply humbled and honored to be here. I love this university, and I love the College of Business. The experiences I had here, both in and out of the classroom, prepared me to succeed in business and in life. It's been 27 years since I received my degree here, and I still bleed orange and blue. It must have been destiny. I was born on the anniversary of the day U of I officially adopted those colors. As I thought about this speech, it became clear to me that what I want to convey to you today is a challenge. I want to challenge you to live entrepreneurially. Now notice that I'm not saying you should all go and be entrepreneurs, but I've been around entrepreneurs since I was born, and I've been one for the last 16 years. The lessons I've learned apply not only to all of our careers, but to how we live our lives. Entrepreneurs and successful people share many traits. Among them are dreaming big, the willingness to take some risk and step out of their comfort zones, surrounding themselves with great people who challenge them, persistence and hard work, but also knowing when to pivot in a new direction, displaying resilience when faced with hurdles, and learning from failures. When you embrace these qualities, I believe you will continue to grow and prosper, not just at work, but in every aspect of your life. Allow me to tell you a little bit more about the journey that has led me to this belief. I grew up in my family business, an office products company called Quill Corporation. The entrepreneurs were my dad and my two uncles, all of whom went to college right here at Illinois. Quill was an overnight success that took 42 years. I learned so much from my father and uncles. They taught me about hard work, honesty and integrity, constant growth and learning, treating people with respect, and helping them to become the best they're capable of being. After graduating from Illinois, I spent 10 great years at Quill. The first thing I worked on was a market research project to determine if our business was being impacted by this little startup out in Boston called Staples. 10 years later, we would sell Quill to Staples. That was in 1998, and that's when I started my own entrepreneurial voyage. As you've heard, together with fellow alum Bruce Barron, I co-founded a venture capital firm called Origin Ventures. We started by investing some of our own money into a few internet startups. After a bit of success, we began to dream bigger. We're now on our third fund together. We've added a great new partner in Brent Hill, and we have $200 million in assets under management. As venture capitalists, we're active partners in the entrepreneurs with whom we invest. We serve on their boards and help strategize how to grow their business. We constantly leverage our networks for their benefit. You should seek ways to harness the power of your network to help yourself and those around you. Let me ask you a question. How many of you have at least 500 Facebook friends? Go ahead, you can raise your hands. Good. You've already mastered one element of living entrepreneurially. Now, how many of you have at least 500 LinkedIn connections? Yeah, a lot fewer. Surround yourself with a professional network as strong as your personal network. However, make sure that there are always some people around you who challenge your ideas. If everyone around you agrees all of the time, there isn't enough diversity of thinking, and new growth opportunities or solutions to problems will be missed. Be open to other points of view and other ways of doing things. A good friend of mine went to a golf pro to try and fix a consistently horrible slice he had had for a long time. The pro taught him to stand facing away from his target, and this cured his problem. The lesson here is sometimes you have to point your feet in the opposite direction to get where you want to go. Living entrepreneurially means often pivoting to new directions before you find true fulfillment. Another common trait in the entrepreneurial mindset is resilience. Respond to hurdles and failures by getting past them and learning from the experience. I'll illustrate this with the most successful startup that Origin Ventures has ever funded, Grubhub. In 2007, Grubhub had 5 employees, and they were seeking their first round of capital to grow their business. Origin was one of 3 firms planning to co-invest. Very near to the time the deal was supposed to close, the other 2 firms dropped out. This was a serious problem. Why did my partner and I decide to continue with the investment anyway? Because Grubhub co-founder Mike Evans reacted resiliently. He didn't get angry or complain. He met the problem head-on and worked with us to overcome it. Origin Ventures ended up leading Grubhub's first 2 rounds of investment 6 or 7 years ago. And last month, as you heard, Grubhub went public on the New York Stock Exchange. Today, its value is $2.5 billion. My fellow Illini, hurdles and problems and failures happen all the time. It's how you respond that determines your success. Another factor that we all face is the impact of ever more rapid change. Like many of you, when I arrived on campus, I brought my Apple computer. Unlike you, my Apple II Plus had 48K of RAM and an external floppy disk drive. Don't get me started on the CS105 class I had to take so we could learn how to program in Fortran using punch cards. Google it. Like many of you, I played Frisbee on the quad, except now you do it with a smartphone in one hand. Unless, of course, you have an app on your smartphone that lets you throw a virtual Frisbee without ever going outside. Today, there is more processing power in the average cell phone than NASA had when they sent a man to the moon in 1969. Drastic changes like this are happening more and more often and faster now. Just look at the makers of BlackBerry phones. They got out-innovated in the marketplace by Apple, Samsung, and others. BlackBerry revenues went from $20 billion down to $4 billion in just 3 years. Their stock price went from $140 per share to $10. The lesson here, figure out how to reinvent your offerings and eat your own lunch. Because if you don't, somebody else will probably figure out how to. The top 10 in-demand jobs in 2010 did not exist 6 years earlier. Imagine what will exist 6 years from now. Change is rapid and happening all the time. Most people are uncomfortable with change. Living entrepreneurially means embrace it. Step out of your comfort zone and make positive change happen proactively. The most valuable lesson I've learned about entrepreneurship and life is that people are the most valuable component. When we make a decision to invest, we invest in the people. Are they smart, driven, passionate? Are they open to collaboration and to bringing others in with complementary skill sets? Steve Jobs said, quote, "The most important thing is a person who incites your curiosity and feeds your curiosity, and machines cannot do that in the same way that people can. The elements of discovery are all around you. You don't need a computer," end quote. It's probably a good thing that those great Apple commercials never had that last sentence as their tagline. Adam Grant, in his book Give and Take, writes, "Success is interdependent, not independent. Your success depends on others. You got here today through the support, guidance, and encouragement of parents, friends, and teachers. Going forward, all of these people, and many more of whom you have yet to meet, will have a role in making you successful, and you have to actively participate in making them successful too." It's important to realize, though, that helping the people who surround us should not be limited just to the people that we know. Serve charitable organizations with your time, talent, and treasure. Use these gifts to help repair the world. One particular nonprofit is of interest to us all, the University of Illinois. This is a state school in name only. It must raise money like a private school, and you should help do that. Currently, only 5% of our alumni give back to U of I. That is unconscionably low. Make a commitment to be the graduating class that changes this. Give back to U of I and the College of Business in the future. And before I conclude, here are a few other things I've learned along the way. Never lose your sense of humor. Tell the most important people in your life how you feel about them, like this. "I want to thank my parents, Jan and Harvey L. Miller, without whom I wouldn't be here, and my wife Diane and our children Rachel and Alyssa, without whom I wouldn't be anywhere." Stop and smell the roses. Like Ferris Bueller said, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. I suggest to you that this great day in your life is one of those occasions that you need to take a moment, look around, and soak it all in. So all the traits that I've mentioned today make for great entrepreneurs, but I'm challenging you to incorporate them every day and live entrepreneurially. Take some risk and step out of your comfort zone once in a while. Be persistent and work hard, but know when to pivot in a new direction. Be resilient and learn from your mistakes, failures, and hurdles. Surround yourself with great people who challenge you, and dream big. My fellow Illini, by virtue of your accomplishments that we celebrate today, you are already a credit to your families and to our alma mater. Now go out into the world, live entrepreneurially, and be a credit to yourselves and to humanity. Congratulations to all of you and your families. Thank you.